Good evening, everyone. It's not quite 7:07 yet, but I figured I could start taking roll call with everyone who's here, and as people walk in, that way we can all stare at them and make them feel like, man, I should have been earlier. Just like the students that should show up about 10 minutes early for school in the morning, right? Aha, you guys are the early ones. Way to go. So I'm going to say some names. If it happens to be your name, hopefully you respond and let me know that I just said your name. So Carmen. Here. Very good. We've got Cody and Georgia. You get a happy mark. All right. So next up, Adam and Randy. I know them. I'm the Adam of that. Where's Oh, there you are. Couldn't find my own wife. Very good. All right. Come on in. I promised that we would stare at the people that walked in. I know it's not even 7:07. You're thinking you're not late. I was just so eager to start talking. It was really exciting. Scott and Barb Christensen, right back there. And they've got Deanna with them tonight. Greetings, Deanna. She's pumped about it. And let's see here. I don't think Jared and Courtney are going to make it in. Dawn, you're here. I'll announce you later. Noelle Hanson. Good mark there. Hi, Shar. Good evening. Welcome. You're thinking you're not late, right? No, you're not. It is. It is. I just was ready. I was ready to go. All right. Sarah Thompson? Nope. Candace Geik.
She's on her way.
On her way. Thank you. Aaron and Liza Heidelberger. Right over there. Kevin and Sarah Impekoven. Haven't seen them yet. Alex and Tanya Klimchuk. I saw Tanya. Greetings, Tanya. Hey! Another Tanya. Welcome. Don and Sherry Reed. Sherry, right there. All right. Stephen and Beth Scarson can't make it in tonight. Matt and Kaylee Spolam. Did I say the last name correctly? Well, as I'm going through this, I'm supposed to make sure that I have ages right of kids. Yeah. The kids know what grade they're in, right? They'll correct me if I'm wrong.
They'll just boost it up a year. They want to get out quicker.
So you look like you're about 6, so you said you're a junior? That's right, Mr. B. Okay. Shannon Stevens. Very good. Troy and Shar. I saw Shar right there. Josh and Sarah. I have not seen them. Brett and Lori. Welcome. All right, Kevin and Kim. Kim is somewhere right there. Juan and Olga. There's Olga. Greetings. Earl and Tanya. Tanya's here. And then the Whips couldn't make it in tonight. All right. A lot of happy marks there. A few people that we're going to have a talking to from the principal. Well, now I'm ready to officially start. So let's pray. Heavenly Father, we praise you and we thank you for this evening, and we thank you that your blessing is upon it, that your presence is here. Lord, as we look forward to the upcoming school year, we dedicate it to you for your glory, Lord. Thank you that the staff and the students and the parents and everyone that's a part of the larger Cornerstone School family is filled with peace and hope and joy and all of the fruit that you provide for us because we can know who you are as perfect in every way. Lord, we praise you and we thank you for a great 2018-2019 school year. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Well, I've been trying to talk myself up tonight, hoping for just pure entertainment the whole way through. I never feel like I'm boring when I go through the handbook. But it is really important stuff. I was telling someone else earlier tonight, I think I could go 4 or 5 hours. There are a lot of things that I want to share with you on a night like tonight, and I really have to tell myself to hold back and not say all the things that I want to say, because usually during the course of the year, I find myself really wanting to communicate effectively to all of you. And so I send these emails out, right? And then I always feel like, well, there's about 2/3 of you that read my emails, and I think you're in the know. And then there's the rest of you that just, I don't know, you don't like reading emails. So how do I express it? Well, tonight I've got you. You're my captive audience. So I'm just going to spew it all out there. Apologize for the poor word choice, but there's a lot of things to share. Well, that's exciting. Candace, I presume. Okay, you get a happy mark. Okay. Did I get your name back there?
I haven't officially registered, but I've got the packet here.
You are ready? Okay. That's exciting. What is your
Open
name?
up for me.
Olivia Johnson.
Olivia Johnson. Greetings. Are you a friend of Jessica's?
I have a friend named Jessica, but I'm not sure it's probably the same friend.
Hazen?
No.
Okay, never mind. She forewarned me that somebody was going to be signing up, and so I accused you of being her friend. But I promise she's a wonderful person as well. Well, yes. Let's just start with getting some stuff sent around, okay? This right here is the Cornerstone Family Quick Info Sheet. If you've just filled one of these out because you just registered, no need to fill it out again. But if it's been a year since you filled one of these out, I want you to fill it out another time. You're saying, what? Homework? And I'm saying, yeah. It's exciting. So just go ahead. I'll take about half of these. If you can pass about one per family. Actually, if you grab the number of kids that you have, one per kid, that's what I meant to say for the quick info sheet. Can you pass these around on this side here? You don't actually have to get up and walk around if you don't want to. You can just grab one and go.
So you want one for each person?
One per student is pretty handy. I've seen parents, kind of write stuff in there so I know what's for whom. And it can be pulled off, but anyhow. Grab a pen, pass it around if you need a pen. There will be more things that I'm passing around as well. I figured I should give you something to do while I'm droning on about the handbook. But you're going to be so captivated that you won't get this done. Am I right, Troy?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm already captivated.
Yes. I love it. All right. If you don't yet have the public school exemption form filled out and sent off to your school district, you're going to want to take care of that. I have a public school exemption form right here. Be mindful there is a front and a back. So if you're getting it notarized, you actually only need the front. But if you're just having 2 witnesses sign it, which I would recommend if you take care of that tonight, it's a piece of cake. In fact, if you just give me a stack of these at the end of the evening, I'm not going to take care of it, but Mrs. Johnson sure will. And she'll make sure that the school district gets this. This is a piece of paper that basically says you are a homeschool registered family for whatever students you list right here. Okay? And I would cover that in a little bit, but I'll just say it right now. Cornerstone School, we're a non-accredited site. Why? We don't want the government telling us what to do. We don't want the government telling us how we're supposed to teach, like math, for instance, and things like that. We believe in what we're doing. We know that what we do is good. It's great. And we like to have the freedom to do things the way that we see best fits each one of our students. So that's why Cornerstone is the way that it is. And if you have other questions about that, please feel free to ask them later. So I'm going to give you another stack of papers. If you don't need one, then you don't need to take one. Otherwise, you can enjoy filling that one out. Excuse me, sorry. So let me introduce all of the staff to you. And we'll start with our founder, Pastor Dwayne Arneson, right there.
Good to see you tonight.
And it was his dream to start a school, I don't know, 30-some years ago. And it actually took place 26 years ago. This is the beginning of our 27th school year here at Cornerstone. Trish Johnson, back there. She is our administrator. She is the person that you pay tuition to, early, and you let her know how blessed you are that she is there in your life. We're very grateful for Trish. She does quite a number of things around the school during the day. So when we need some fill-in, oftentimes Trish is the go-to for that one, as well as taking care of all of the billing.
Mr. B?
Yes.
You didn't tell them what my job is.
Pastor's job is to love on your children,
Love
not
on
to
your
teach
kids
them.
At least once a day. I make trips through and love on them.
He's the one that gives them free stuff. He's the one that, helps us teachers know how to calm the kids down after he leaves the room. It's good stuff. If you ever have a student that's missing part of their snack, they might have given it to Pastor.
Amen. I'm looking for them. They cover up their lunches when I come in the room. I'm always asking, what do you got for me today? I'm hungry.
We've got Mrs. Dawn Greep back there. She is a lead teacher for grades K through 4. And then we've got Mrs. B right there. She is the grading teacher for grades 3 through 6. Now, you're going to say, what? 3rd and 4th graders are in both the lower level learning center and the upper level learning center. So when the 3rd and 4th graders go over there, that's Mrs. B. And then when the 3rd and 4th graders are over there, that's Mrs. Greep. We've got it. So 3rd and 4th graders have 2 different grading teachers. Miss Anderson, right there. She's the grading teacher for 7 and 8. And we have Mrs. Sorensen, been with us since the beginning of the school. It's exciting. And she's the grading teacher for grades 9 through 12. And Kim Christensen, she's not here tonight. Did I know that? I probably knew that. Sometimes, if I don't write things down, I have a feeling she told me that she wasn't able to make it tonight. But Kim Christensen helps out a lot with Mrs. Greep, and also helps out with the 3rd and 4th graders when they come over to do their computer work, as well as performing any other number of helpful tasks. Any questions on staff? I'm just here. I do things. Hopefully I do things during the day. My favorite thing to do is to teach math, but I do what needs to be done. I write emails. You already know that. Okay, I gave you the quick info sheet and the public school exemption forms. Gym uniform, order sheet. So if you don't yet have Cornerstone t-shirts, you'll need to acquire a Cornerstone t-shirt. The bookstore is where we have all of those. If you speak really nicely to Mrs. Johnson afterwards, you could perhaps even see if she'll let you in there so you can buy some stuff. But it's also just easy to have the order sheet right here, and you hand this in to me, and I get it sent off, and it'll all come in the first, I don't know, it'll be about 3 or 4 weeks into the school year. So the first couple of gyms, we sometimes don't have our order in yet. So, excuse me, hopefully we have stock in the bookstore. So that's not the issue, but anyhow, you might need to place an order. That's what this is for. Every Thursday, you have to be in gym attire when you show up at school. All right, and a part of that is a Cornerstone t-shirt, which is a part of the dress code for Thursdays. You got sweatshirts on here that are optional. I have a spot on the bottom, special request for something that has the school's logo on it. I've always thought perhaps we should have more things available to show school pride out there. So if you have an idea of something that you'd like to put on to our list, our screen printer has any number of things that can be screen printed. All right. We're going to get into the handbook very shortly. And first I want to talk about volunteer opportunities for parents and add a couple of things into it while I'm talking about volunteer options. Field trips. Many of you in the room might know Linda Van Beek. We're excited that Linda has agreed to keep doing field trips for us, even though her daughter has graduated and moved on. I've kind of roped Linda back in, and she says, you know, I kind of like it. And that's really exciting. Last year, we had an individual who signed up to be the field trip coordinator, but there was some health concerns that happened, and unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of field trips at the beginning of the year. Fear not. This year, we're going to have field trips. It's going to be great. Now, Linda did make a request. She requested that you guys could provide some ideas for field trips that you might like the kids to go on. So I'm going to pass this around, and if you have any ideas for a good field trip, put it on the sheet. That being said, if somebody has a passion in their heart to organize field trips, feel free to let me know, and I will let Linda know that, you know, perhaps you could tag team, and then she has this giant folder of stuff that she's kept, and she would very gladly, I have a feeling, say, here you go. Okay. But that is not a vacancy at this time that we need to fill, so just if you're passionate about it, know it's available. Our script program, right now I'm the script program manager, and I'm fine doing that. If you don't know what script is, it's basically a means of buying gift cards to make your purchase ahead of time, and then a certain percentage of that goes towards your school tuition. So if you make good use of it, you can add up quite a bit, and there's a way to do it electronically on your phone. So you can even, while you're in line at Starbucks, let's say, open up your app, buy a Starbucks gift card, show it to the person that you just gave your order to. They'll scan it in, and you will have paid for your Starbucks. And I don't know what the Starbucks rebate is, but let's say 5-6% of your purchase just went towards your school tuition. Excuse me. So it's a pretty neat program. But if anybody is really excited, once again, about helping me with the management of that program, that's fine. Getting set up takes a little bit of effort, but I can walk you through it just fine. And then once you're all set up, then it's really slick. So let me know, send me an email, or just go to www.shopwithscrip.com, and then you can find Cornerstone School in Sioux Falls on the website and make a request to join our group. And that'll get it started. Oofda, I need more water. It's good. Forgive me. Frogs in the throat tonight. All right. Our box top program, we currently don't have anybody that is sending in our box tops. And admittedly, I don't want to do that one. So if anybody wants to collect box tops, last year, the person that we had doing it was above and beyond. You don't need to actually, it comes with this like book where you can stick things on pages and make them nice and orderly. You don't have to go through that effort. You just need to put them in little baggies of 50. And then we send in the baggies 2 times a year is for collection on the box tops. So collect them, baggies of 50, send them off with information about the school, where they came from, and that's all that's involved in the box tops there. So if anybody's interested in being the box top person, let me know. Or I could just say, does anybody?
I'll do it.
Right there. Noelle Hansen. You got an extra smiley mark tonight. So, very good. And then remember that we can collect box tops, and it helps provide money for the school. I don't know what it was last year, $100 and some or whatever it is, but $100 and some we didn't have otherwise, so it's pretty nice. If you're ever interested in helping out during the school day with like grading or teaching or stuff like that, let me know. I would be looking for regularity and a consistency in schedule, if that were the case. Probably if you were to just show up like every now and then for an hour, it's not helpful, actually. You're welcome to be here and observe at any time. But if you want to volunteer in the school, I do want you all to know. That's great and wonderful, but only start if you plan to be regular. Like, hey, every Monday I could be in for 3 hours or something like that. And then we know to plan ahead, and if we have some projects to work on, or if there's some students that maybe could read out loud to you, or things like that, or just maybe you just love teaching algebra. In the upper level room, teaching math is probably 50% of teacher time. So that's definitely the subject that takes the most amount of time in our day. So if you love math, that's always nice. And then, of course, throughout the year, driving for field trips, that type of thing is a great way to help out as a parent. And if you have a special, greetings, Juan, welcome, a special lecture class that you want to give, just let me know. We have some time available in our schedule for that type of thing to take place. A couple years ago, Tanya came in, and we learned a lot about the Ukraine. I thought that was fantastic. So thanks for that. You'll pick a different country next time? She was specially qualified on Ukraine. But hey, I'm up for any country. Let's learn. But anything in particular that you just like sharing some knowledge, something you're passionate about, let me know, and you can come on in and teach a lecture class on that. Any other thoughts, questions about volunteering and capability to do that in the school? If you happen to have an idea that I haven't thought of, I'm open to it. Yes, in the wintertime, the upper level group, I will need drivers on Thursday afternoons. So, and right now, we have to decide what we're doing with our upper level gym class. I may have some students that aren't very happy with me, but our upper level gym class has become very large, and I don't particularly want 20-some students in half of a gym playing basketball or volleyball. It's going to get a little crowded. So there might be some junior high students that aren't very happy with what we end up doing with gym. Just to give you a heads up, if you happen to have some junior high students. For sure we'll have 9th through 12th in the upper level gym, but yeah, it used to be 7th through 12th grade, so I'm still trying to figure out what we want to do there. But that's where we're at this time. Well, let's dive into the handbook, shall we? All right, so if you want to follow along as I go through the handbook, then you're going to have to use your phone and go to the school website. If you want to just listen to me because you find that to be so wonderful, then you just listen to me. But the school website is cornerstoneschool.co. And if you scroll down a little bit, there will be a link that says School Handbook. I apologize that our school website is not user-friendly for cell phones, but that's why I put a bunch of links on the first page there so that you can go to all the pages I'd like you to be able to go to. You're supposed to have easy access up top. It doesn't work, and I don't know why. I decided I'm just okay with that. I've got other problems I can solve.
Can you move that bar where the options are on the far right to the left side of the screen?
I don't know what bar you're talking. The bar that I'm thinking of is, oh,
It's like 3 little lines. It's always on the
Yep.
far right at the top.
for me it's on the left.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyhow, yeah. So there are 3 lines, and you want to tap on them, and it should give you these options to go to all the main pages of the site. And on our site, when you tap on it, nothing happens. So if somebody out there happens to know how to solve that problem, feel free to let me know. As it is right now, if you just scroll down a little bit, there's a bunch of links. You can go to the parents page and student page. And then if you look just a little bit to the right, just to the right of the video with this handsome guy on it, it's a link that says School Handbook. So Cornerstone School exists as a place of spiritual and academic empowerment, forming confident and skilled Christian leaders. That's our mission. We're here to make your amazing kids even amazinger. Did I mention I love teaching grammar?
Is that like strategery?
That is like strategery. So I already talked about Cornerstone School being a non-accredited site. I'm going all the way to page number 9. And it explains right there why we choose to be a non-accredited site. Once again, that has never proven to be a detriment to us. It's always been a help. And we send students off to college every year. They do very well, and we're very happy with what our students are able to accomplish when they go out of here. In fact, we believe that a self-paced, individualized format is far better for preparing students for college than a lockstep classroom format. There is a lot of good stuff I'm going to skip over, okay? You're welcome, because I'm not going to talk as long that way. But I do hope I will send an email out later this week with an updated version of the handbook on it. It will have a piece of paper on there that says, I read the handbook, okay? And what I'm hoping is that every family, preferably even every parent, can tell me, I read the handbook. I know what's in it. because there's a lot of good stuff in there, okay? And when you see that email, please print off that form and fill it out. If you don't have a printer at home, I'll have plenty of them here that you can grab. If you do need me to print off a handbook for you, let me know, and I will get you a hard copy. I'm going to page 10 right now, medical guidelines. In the middle of the page, it says, if a child is experiencing symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, fever, etc. at home, he or she should not attend school so other children are not exposed. Thank you in advance for making sure that you don't send sick children to school. Make them unsick, then send them to school. Okay? Good plan. Medication should be turned into the office so that we can take care of that. Please let us know if there's any prescriptions at school. All right, on the bottom of page 11, I'm going to talk to you about lost and found. So, many of the things that you might see back there might have been acquired from once being lost and found. Many of them also just happen to be here because students or parents have said, hey, my son or daughter no longer fits into this, here you go. And so I'll use this as an opportunity to say, please check that out. If you don't mind hand-me-downs, I would love to have less clothing. So there's free clothing right back there, and it's not all clothing too. There's some coolers for lunch there. There's some coats that were just left, and they weren't claimed last year in the Lost and Found. So I'm just calling them first come, you take it, and it's yours. That being said, if you ever feel like something is lost, we will hang on to it. Usually, it will end up on my side of the building in the teacher's closet, which is on the far side over there, and you can just come talk to me and get it. Sometimes things that are lost will end up over there. And we've got another storage closet right over there. If you have stuff that's left over the weekend, particularly if it's just left on the floor of the coat room area, that looks tacky when we have some weekend activities for the church going on. So things that are on the floor are all put into a sack and taken away. So you might just wonder, what happened to my son's boots? What happened to those gloves? Well, they didn't take them home over the weekend. They left them out as a mess, and it got put into the lost and found. Okay? So just come find us, and we'll help you to the lost and found, and that's hopefully where they're at. That being said, kids lose things, all right? Things get misplaced. Put names on everything, okay? It's just my recommendation. Put names on stuff. Put names on the backpack and the sweatshirt that you bought from the bookstore for $30. There's two of them right over there. You know, they're just lost. All right, questions about lost and found?
Mr. B, you spent too much time talking about lost and found.
It's going to be okay. Outside play. So we go outside often because it's good for the kids to go out and get some fresh air. When do we not go outside? We don't go outside if the heat index is over 100, and we don't go outside if the wind chill is below 0. All right? So if we're between those two, we go outside. Some years, we never have to pay attention to the heat index of 100, but it does happen from time to time. Every year, we do have days where the wind chill is below 0 in South Dakota. If we're going outside, now the younger students do go outside a little bit more than the older students, but even high school students have a couple of opportunities during the day to go outside and run around. If it is below 55, Then students are expected to wear a coat unless we hear otherwise from you. And then if it is below freezing, students should have a coat, hat, and gloves unless we hear otherwise from you. Okay? Some students, for whatever reason, will say they don't like going outside. It's your job to tell them they're supposed to like going outside. Okay? And then, just to be mindful of the fact that they might accidentally forget a hat, knowing it's going to be cold. So just make sure you send the hat with them. So, oh no, don't worry, it's in your backpack. Sorry, I already put it there. That's good stuff right there. So we want kids going out and running out their energy, particularly when they're younger. That's really helpful. But everybody could use some fresh air. Boots are very helpful when there's snow on the ground. And it's also fine if you want to have a pair of nice shoes for when your students are inside and another pair of shoes that might get packed in the backpack where they can run around and play basketball or, run through the mud back there or whatever. Sometimes it's muddy. Right now it is. We get a lot of rain. Not a bad idea. In fact, I'll just mention right now, it's not a bad idea to have an extra set of clothes with, packed in a backpack. Particularly younger students aren't quite as careful, but I've seen it happen K through 12, of just getting messy during the day. And we're talking real messy. It can happen. So not a bad idea. We do have some of our old Cornerstone sweatpants that we use from time to time when we have to send a student home. If they're walking out to the vehicle and they're wearing these heather gray sweatpants that say Cornerstone right along here, that means the pants they started the day off with aren't doing so well. Okay? But if you're prepared with an extra set of clothes, that's nice. All right. Now I'm going to page 13. Towards the bottom there, things that you as parents can do to really help things out. Make sure your children are getting adequate sleep. They should be keeping a regular schedule. Routine is huge for us to just be more productive as individuals, to be happier as individuals. It's important for us to have routine and to maintain some sense of orderliness and organization. So regular sleep, eating well, a good breakfast is a great idea to get everything firing before they come into school. And also, once again, please don't allow one of your children who feels sick to come into the school and spread that around. On the bottom of this page, there's a lot of good stuff to read here on page 13, but the school and the parents must work together or the student's education will be hindered. It is certainly our desire to work with you and not, in place of you. We want you to be involved in your children's education. Please be involved. Let's communicate back and forth. Let's encourage each other. Let's give each other the benefit of the doubt. And let's watch victorious children thrive in the world going forward. Okay? That's the plan. So, do know, we know that kids come in and they say some things like, "You would not believe what my mom did last night. It was torture. Really, my mom tortured me. It was ridiculous." And then she yelled so loud, I think my ears still hurt from it. So, she made you do the dishes? Yeah. And then I didn't want to do it. She said, "Do them." Oh, yelling. I get accused of yelling. And what I really want to do is, I'll show you what yelling is. Anyhow, we all recognize that the perspective of a child is different than our own. And as we're working together in helping to train them all up, thank you for giving us the benefit of the doubt and then coming to us to communicate, and we plan to do likewise in return. Okay. Daily arrival. Those doors will be open at 7:45 a.m. Usually they're actually open a few minutes before then, but 7:45 is the official time that the doors open. And if you happen to need to show up earlier, you need to communicate with us ahead of time. We do oftentimes have someone here earlier than that, but doors open at 7:45. So we don't expect anything to be regular where you show up, let's say, at like 7:15. We don't have that type of like a before school program. And when Mrs. Greep comes in early, because she's often here early, she's hoping to get some things done. And that's nice. It's a nice quiet time for you in the morning, I imagine. Sometimes? Sure it is. And then the school day, most school days end at 3:25. Fridays end at noon. Please be here within 10 minutes of dismissal time. Preferably you're here right when we dismiss, right? But if you are more than 10 minutes late, I will call you. So if you happen to be running late, you can shoot me a text or call the school or whatever and just kind of let us know that you're running late. But if you're more than 10 minutes late, that's when I start saying, what's going on? And usually me calling makes people show up right at the driveway. So usually about the time I call, I say, yeah, I'm pulling in right now. Oh, great. But thank you for that. No kid likes being the last one picked up. If somebody is picking up your child that we're not expecting, please communicate that to us ahead of time. All right? I don't like that type of surprise. Oh yeah, it's my great aunt once removed on my, great uncle's side, whatever that might work out to be. Let's just know who's picking up our kids, right? I want to know. I want to know who's picking up your kids. I assume you want to know who's picking up your kids as well. So thank you for that. There is on the quick info sheet, you probably noticed a place to mention all of the people that you think might be picking up your kids, and then you can have that approved ahead of time.
Adam?
Yeah.
And if one of those names is being taken off, let you know so you scratch it off.
Right. Certainly.
I have a question on pickup and drop off. Do you pull up, do you guys have like a?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Preferably, if you just kind of pull into the lot here, do a cookie is good that time of day. And then just kind of back up and then spin your tires a bunch, throw up some rocks. It's really helpful. Our high school students, by the way, we have them all park over there, and we tell them to never drive through the lot. So they're allowed to only park on that side. Sometimes that side has a lot of water in it, but preferably when there's less water, then they can park over there where it's dry, and then they just leave out of that parking lot. For all of the parents, just right kind of along the front here is where you'll have to park. It is preferable that you don't park in the middle of the lot and wait for your child to come out to you.
So you don't get out of your car, they just come out to your car?
They will come out to you, yes. You're always welcome to come inside, say hi.
There's usually a teacher at the door, kids stay inside.
Yeah. We're at the door, and we kind of direct them where they're going. We like to keep an eye on what vehicles are around and that type of thing. But yeah, just pull in to one of the parking spots in the front. The parking spots on that side will usually be full. There probably are a couple open spaces there, but the chiropractor uses our parking lot for parking as well. So those are employees of the chiropractor on that side.
Are you going to talk about open campus lunch?
Was I already supposed to?
Well, I just want to know about open campus lunch.
That's good. Oh, that's the next page. It's exciting. Nothing but pure excitement on every page, really. School closings. School closings follow the Sioux Falls School District. So if the Sioux Falls School District says there's no school because of weather, that means we're not having school either. A lot of you might be out of town. I know certainly some of you are out of town. And if you want to make your judgment calls, that's fine. You can call into the school and just say, I don't feel safe driving today. And we give you that prerogative. Now, if you don't show up and it's a school day where we still have school, then you wouldn't qualify for perfect attendance. But if you plan ahead, you can actually make sure you have all your stuff ready to go and get credit for not being absent if you do schoolwork, if a child does schoolwork when they're not at school. And that's coming up on a future page here in the handbook. There's one exception for school closings, and that's on a Friday. We dismiss at noon, so a late start means we don't have school. So Fridays, Sioux Falls School District says late start, we don't have school. Any questions on school closings? Okey-doke. School lunches. Put your name on your lunchbox or sack. Use an insulated container. There is some refrigerator space available. Excuse me. And please have your lunch and snack prepared at home, particularly for younger students. You know, if they like their apple cut into slices, it's nice if the apple can already be cut up into slices when they bring it with them to school. We're not going to look at your child and just say, no, I never cut apples up into slices. But it's very helpful if you can already have that done when you send them to school. Obviously, upper level students, I would just say, go cut your apple. So there is a snack time available for grades K through 3. I think that is the continued plan right now. Last year, if our schedule does stay the same, 4th graders were over in the upper level room when the lower level room has their snacks. So 4th graders don't have snack anymore. But kindergarten through 3rd grade does have a snack. Everyone else, you just need to prepare a lunch. Okay, we've got 6 microwaves up and running on multiple different circuits. And so we're ready to have a good, efficient lunchtime this year. We do lunch in 2 shifts. We have kindergarten through 4th grade. They're at 11:30. And then 7th through 12th grade, sorry, a couple grades didn't get to eat there. 5th through 12th grade, they start lunch at noon. Open lunch. So if you are in high school, grades 9 through 12, you are allowed to leave for open lunch. I require communication from a parent each time that a student wants to leave for open lunch. I have never been comfortable with just a blanket, okay, well, open lunch, you can go. But it is available for all of our high school students. So they can have a note that you sign and date and bring that into school. You can send me a text message. You can call in. I've got some lovely creative notes that Noelle has handed me in the past. Found one the other day that was in a different language. Can't even remember what language it was.
Just to embarrass Mallory.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was all to embarrass Mallory, and it worked. It really did. So,
The question
specifically.
I was wondering is, like Catherine's friends, are they able to pick her up, like Theo and Yaya and Clayton? They're already making plans about picking up Kat for
Gotcha.
lunch.
If it's somebody that I know, that's helpful. If I know that it's approved and they're not trying to sneak a fast one over on you, then I suppose we'll be okay with it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
probably as long as I make sure that I send the text
Yeah.
to let you know.
Adam,
Yeah.
also, if another kid's driving, can they go with that kid? You need parents need to say, yeah, it's okay for them to ride with whoever.
Correct. Always require that if somebody else is driving, that the parents acknowledge to me that they know that someone else is driving. So please fill me in on that one. Okay. And I've got some extra drivers this year, don't I? Wow. Is Angie driving to school this year? Yeah, I'll have a few new drivers this year. Whew. Okay. It's good times. We're good to go and open lunch? I promise we're going to be done with the handbook in no time. You're supposed to look excited. Good. Absences, the first 10 absences, we don't ask any questions. We just ask that you let us know. So that way I don't have to call you and say, where is your child? Please always let us know if somebody's not coming into school. It is possible to get credit for not being absent if you complete a full day's worth of coursework at home, or if you're old enough to be on the computer, log in at least 4.5 hours of time on the computer with a minimum of 5 completed assignments, or what the wording actually is satisfactory coursework completion. Okay? But if we get one thing done out of each one of the main subjects, then that also is just, that's good to go. So if you make that happen and you're not in school, you can still get credit for being at school. How cool is that? If you accrue too many absences, nobody's going to have a problem with that here, right? Then you can be considered truant. The state of South Dakota requires that you, as a registered homeschool family, have your children educated for 962.5 hours. That is the state of South Dakota's requirement, which is, by the way, how we decide how many hours of school we are in session. So by having your children here at school, you are fulfilling the state of South Dakota requirement. But if you miss 30 days of school and you just say, well, that was fun, I'm not a big fan of that. Okay? Good. Homework. Homework is a good thing. I have it here on page 17 in bold. Parents, it is necessary to hold students accountable in all grades, and specifically all grades old enough to be using the computer. It is very difficult to work from behind in our self-paced format. There's a new feature this year on Ignitia that we're excited about. If you have logged into Ignitia before, once your students, and this is for grades 3 through 12, once your students have a username and password, you can get that username and password from them so you can log in and kind of see what's changing from day to day. The new feature on Ignitia this year, each subject will tell you how many days ahead or behind you are. So once you log in, you can look at it and it'll just say 3 days ahead. We'll plan on the good stuff. Okay? So it's real easy to keep track. Once you get a couple days behind, you're working uphill. And at the beginning of the year, there won't be anything scheduled to be due until after Labor Day. So any schoolwork that they complete the first week of school is just getting ahead. It gives us some freedom to do some review and things like that. We'll be taking some math tests, and obviously there's orientation. They get to listen to me go through the handbook, things like that. But we also have time for schoolwork that first week. So get ahead, stay ahead. That should be the mantra. I'm looking at doing some nice perks every quarter. I will have more details about that as the school year goes on, but I'd like to have like a special treat available to students that make it a quarter without getting behind. But we do have the extended learning program, which is Friday afternoons. If you do have a child that gets 2 days behind or more than on any subject, I will be asking them to be present for Friday afternoon so that they can use that extra time to get caught up in their schoolwork. Questions?
If they are, for that Friday, is it just till 3:25?
Correct, yeah. And they'll be there till 3:25. If I'm on top of my game, I let you know that Tuesday after school. So you have a couple days in advance to know, so you can plan accordingly. And they also do have the opportunity, if they work really hard on that Wednesday, Thursday, to earn their way off of extended learning as well. Because a lot of students like that early weekend. It's a nice feature of the school. Yeah.
But also, if even if you let them know on Tuesday, if there's something that they've already got planned for the weekend, family type thing.
Right, yeah, it's not like we're going to say, have your child here or else. Once again, just communicate with us if you have something else going on. But be mindful of your reasoning for why you're letting them off the hook, right? You probably don't want to set a precedent that says, well, I just really want to see this cool movie that's coming out. Like, I think you could wait a few hours before you go see that cool movie that's coming out. But if you need to go to your cousin's wedding in Michigan, go ahead and take off at noon on a Friday. That's fine with me. Might want to take off a little earlier on that Friday, to be honest. If you're going to Michigan, that's fine. Takes a while. All right, progress reports. I make a progress report every quarter. Oh, I didn't get all the important stuff in. Oh, okay. Nice to meet you. So, man, she'll just have to watch the recording later. I'm recording myself. It's pretty exciting. So on the report card, you're looking for two things every quarter on the report card. You're looking for what scores your child is getting, and you're looking for how many scores there are. In a self-paced format, I know that for many of you this might be new this year. You can get really good scores, but only have like 5 units done. That was not a good quarter. Maybe there are 2 A's and 3 B's, and you've got the 3.4 GPA, and you've stuck it up on the microwave, and you put a big smiley face on a refrigerator. People don't usually do that in microwaves. And you just you take your little Facebook picture, and you're just like, wow, what a great quarter. Just be mindful of the fact that, one, our students get A's and B's. So we don't allow, you can get a C plus, technically, if we had pluses and minuses. It's rare to get a C on a unit score. More common in math because the test is more heavily weighted in math. So it's more possible to get a C in math, but still, it's rare, okay? So almost everything that your students are getting are A's and B's. So right away, they're doing pretty well, okay? Our average percentage at the end of a school year is right around 90% for that average school, if I just take everyone and lump them up together. If you like statistics, our standard deviation is right around 2%, okay? So if you're within one standard deviation of the mean, that's between an 88 and a 92. Now, if I just lost you, I'm sorry. But what it does mean is if you've got 94, 95, 96% showing up, they're doing great. Okay? Those scores are more common for, first and second grade. If you see that as they get older, that's awesome. Okay? But you're really looking for how much are they getting done, and are they doing it well? We're making a push this year that our students are not getting their schoolwork done just so they can say they got it done. Okay? This has bothered me. It has bothered me for years. And I have been thinking, and I've been thinking, I've been pondering, and I've been meditating, and I've been talking about it at staff meetings, and I just say, what do we got to do? We've got students that are showing up, and all they care about is, well, I got it done. I want them to care about, I learned something today. My world got bigger. I'm interested in something. Sounds good to me, right? Yeah! And I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here, but right now is a good time to talk about it. We're changing something that we're doing with our history and geography this year. We're starting with history and geography. There also will be some changes with our Bible too, I believe. But history and geography specifically, we're going to try to convert history and geography into something we call a point system. Okay? And if you were to do a regular course of history and geography, usually it's 10 units, okay? And that's the whole year of history and geography. If we were to call each one of those units worth 100 points, and you did all 10 of those units, you would get 1,000 points. So I'm calling 1,000 points a year of history and geography. The purpose of converting that into a point system means we perhaps could have flexibility to find more creative and different ways to learn the material. So you can brainstorm at home with your kids. You can be learning a list of, 300 great reasons why Abraham Lincoln should have worn a shorter hat. I don't know, whatever you're learning. One of those boring lists. And just say, what is the essence of what we're trying to learn here? How can we make it interesting? What cool project can we come up with? So as teachers, that's what we're trying to build. And I haven't done this before because it has felt like a very large task. And I'm realizing this year, I just have to start it. And it's not going to be, I can't give you a big handbook that says, here is the wonderful new curriculum, outside the walls learning that we just came up with. It's going to have to get formed over time. And what we're going to be able to do is let kids go home and say, talk things over with your mom and dad. See if you're interested in doing this, and we'll see where it branches off from there, okay? Once again, I could go off on some of the mental tangents that I've gone down here and bore you to tears for this. I saw the yawn. But I just want to let you know, history and geography, we're going to have some more options. So the option to just do Ignitia like we've always been doing it is still there. But I want us to recognize boredom when it's happening and see if there's something we can do about it. And let's try to make school interesting. Because it's interesting. History is interesting. It's amazing some of the things that have happened in the past. It's crazy some of the things that people have done. The fact that we are a country at all is remarkable. We should have lost. Right? I mean, if you were just playing a numbers game, how did we ever win the Revolutionary War? Well, there's a story to be told. 3%. 3%? What's 3%?
3% of the people fought.
Oh, really? Oh. That's not very many people.
It's not very many.
Fascinating, huh? Anyhow, so I will probably send out more information about that. The teachers are working on some stuff. Just know that we're going to treat that a little differently, and then when you get the report card on your history and geography, I'm probably going to have also on there number of points earned for history and geography. And perhaps when I convert that all over, assuming that we actually like what we're doing this year, it might be easier to track progress every quarter, because then every quarter you'd be looking at accruing 250 points per subject, in theory, right? So, questions on that?
Are you still gonna do the experiments, Mrs. B?
Oh, wait, that won't change.
Yep, that's still happening. Definitely. Standard of conduct on page 19. I'm just going to highlight real fast here. I realize it's already after 8 o'clock, and it's my goal to be done at 8:30. So I'm going to try to make it happen. I can do it. I can do it. A negative attitude requires more attention than a negative action. I just want you to understand that my philosophy of discipline is that I am looking at the student's mindset, the attitude of their heart, okay? We all mess up, okay? We all make mistakes. Where is the heart of the student at? So if it is the student's endeavor to honor the school, to honor God with the way they live their lives, that's going to go a long way with me. And it's important to know that. Also, I think I'm a nice guy. I think I'm reasonable. Sometimes I have to raise my voice. Sometimes I have to discipline. And it happens. Okay? It's very possible that you might say, Mr. B, what were you thinking? That was ridiculous. I totally don't understand what you did there. And if you ever do feel that way, that's totally okay to feel that way. Just please come talk to me about it. We'll talk it over. You know what? Maybe I missed something. Maybe there was something that I really should have caught. But maybe there's something bigger going on here. I really try to keep things into perspective when we're dealing with discipline because we're talking about somebody's future. What are we being shaped into? And we all need grace, and we all need to recognize that Cornerstone School has something special to offer. And that's why I have the philosophy that a negative attitude requires more attention than a negative action, because a negative attitude is cancerous, and I want it out of here. That's why last year I told somebody, don't come back to school, and he had not violated any one of the major principles for what you'd get expelled for. But you know what? That attitude did not belong here. And the longer I do this job, the quicker I can pick up on it. And there's no sense in playing games for 9 months trying to change somebody that doesn't want to change. Okay? But that being said, it is not my desire to go after your kids and tell them, well, you don't belong here. Okay? It's my heart's desire to help as many kids as I can. All right? That's what I'm striving for. So please, once again, come talk to me if you have any questions about how things are being handled. Okay? I want to do the best job that I can, and sometimes you have some information that I just need to know. Thank you. So I'm going to leave it at that. Page 21 is our Cornerstone School 49 guidelines. We go over these in group assembly. I'm just going to read you guideline number 19 because I expect all of our students to know that one by number. Use God-given wisdom in the circumstances of life. Okay? So when I talk to students, I'll just say 19. And that just basically means cut it out. Think about what you're doing. All right? Figured you should know that one too. Guideline 19. So when they're at home, you can just say 19. Birthdays, I'm on page 24 if you're following along. Birthdays have a no dress code day attached to them. If your birthday happens to fall on a weekend, let us know if you're going to celebrate the birthday on that Friday or the Monday or some other day. That's fine. You don't have to bring treats or anything, of course, but if you want to, that's something that a lot of people like to do, so go ahead. If a student happens to have a summer birthday, then a half birthday is a good time to celebrate it, but we won't celebrate their birthday by default on their half birthday. You would have to communicate with us when you're planning on celebrating that. What do we do for the celebration of a birthday other than them getting a no dress code day? I call them up to the front. We sing happy birthday. I chase them with a Bible, and then the students get to ask them some questions. It's become a thing over the years. The second verse of the happy birthday song that we sing is God's Blessings on You. And I tell them the Bible verse that says the blessings of God shall come upon you and overtake you. And so I take my Bible and I go after them and I let them know they've got God's blessings on them. So, it's gone home before where Mr. B tackled me and hit me with the Bible. That's why I don't try to tackle anybody, by the way. That just happened by mistake one time. Telephone use. Students are expected to turn in their cell phones at the beginning of the day, and then they take them with them at the end of the day. If any student needs to use the phone during the day, that should be for, maybe they're not feeling well or something like that, not to call up their friend. We're not going to say yes to that if they want to just, hey, it's break. Can I call my friend and see what she's up to? Definitely not going to happen. But that's telephone use there. I'm on page 24. Grading, just to recognize that 80% is the lowest percentage that we allow here at the school. We do offer the opportunity on Ignitia to change the minimum grade. So if you don't like 80%, we have some students bumped up to 85%. If you'd like to encourage betterness in schoolwork completion, that 85% minimum can work nicely. I don't like a 90% minimum because there are far too many assignments that don't have a round number of questions. So if you have 8 questions, let's say. 9 questions is a good example. 9 questions, and you get 8 right, you just got an 88.9%. The computer's gonna kick it back to you. And that's kind of often, for whatever reason, 14 or 9 or some weird number of questions. So I don't encourage 90%, it just hasn't worked well in the past, but 85 has worked out okay to help students be more accountable in how well they complete their schoolwork. Yeah.
There are times that I will give a project less than 80% if it's less
Yeah.
than 80%.
Yeah, and if you ever see a project that's less than 80%, it probably means Mrs. Sorensen has talked to this student about 3 or 4 times, and it's just not getting better because the student's not wanting to put in the effort to make it better. And I agree. There's no need for us to,
I'm not going to
polish the score if they're not going to put in good effort. But there's a decent chance we will have talked to you about that situation as well if that ever happens. Usually those involve parent conversations. Page 32 is one of our pages that talk about how to earn a diploma if you're in high school. We have standard, college preparatory, and honors. If we don't hear otherwise from you, our default is the college preparatory plan of action for high school. It's the best one to think about your options going forward. But certainly, students shouldn't feel bad if they go for the standard diploma. You're still meeting the South Dakota state requirements as well as the Cornerstone school requirements. We've got a couple of extra things in there that the state doesn't have. Obviously, a Bible requirement is not required by state, but it is for us, that type of thing. Dress code, are you guys ready? We're almost done with the handbook. Woohoo! Dress code has not changed except for 2 very minor things. In the shirts, the wording said pinstripes, and somebody sent me a picture of a shirt that had some stripes on it that I would not have called pinstripes, but I said, that's totally fine. So it just says that stripes are okay, but shirts should be solid color shirts, either an Oxford style like this or a polo. Okay? I'm going to just let you read the dress code items. Shoes is the other change. I decided to just lump all shoes into one category. I used to try to separate out different types of shoes. So it's just shoes now. But make sure that they are all one solid color. Okay? One solid color. Laces, and if there's a logo, the logo is the same color. But the one exception is the sole. So if the sole is a different color, then that's okay. that make sense?
So they don't all have to be black, like they can go all blue or?
Right, same colors allowed as pants. So the pant colors are navy, brown, black, white, gray, or khaki.
So they can have like black shoes with white soles?
Right, they can.
Because I thought in other years, my kids had that, and they like,
I
try not to.
don't know. I don't know what I've said yes or no to, but I have said no to the Converse All-Stars, I know, because they have a thing on the top here that's a different color. But you can't get those that are all one solid color as well. And there were often times where almost the entire shoe was like black, but then there was a red logo on it, or something like that.
Not all black ones, but I know another year we had some white soles on the black, or black shoes. with
Okay.
white soles.
That's, and maybe I just changed. Maybe I used to say no to that.
I thought so, but we couldn't find anything different last year.
Sometimes I decide to allow stuff because I get tired of saying no. I shouldn't admit that. Students, you didn't hear anything. Okay. I am going to quickly cover one other area for the dress code. I do expect that you read through the dress code. I already told you I expect you to read the whole handbook, but specifically the dress code. And to be supportive of the dress code is really important, okay? It is not helpful to the school for us to try to enforce the dress code, and at home they're like, yeah, I wonder when Cornerstone School is going to get with it and get rid of their dress code. That's the last thing they need to hear you say. You just made my job twice as hard. So thank you for your support of the dress code, right? It is a part of what we do here, and we believe it to be a very important part of what we do here. Okay. We have relaxed on a few things over the years. I think it's been nice. We have some more color in the school now. That's good. So I've had some people that have come from the Catholic school system into what we're doing here, and they say, oh, we've got more options. See, it's exciting for them. So, but then I wanted to read through the list of no dress code day dress code and make sure that we've covered that. So sometimes we have a no dress code day, but that doesn't mean you can wear whatever you want. So a no dress code day means that your clothes don't have holes in them and they're not falling apart. Okay? I have decided on a no dress code day only to allow those jeans that come already purposely frayed, but absolutely no holes above the knee. Okay? And they had to come that way. It didn't happen that way because you got creative one weekend. Okay? You can't have clothing that promotes, and hopefully these are all no-brainers, but we've got it in here. Violence, alcohol, tobacco, drugs, any material that's sexually suggestive or gang-related. Clothing should be, this is the important part, appropriate and encouraging. Thank you. Shorts and skirts must come within 3 inches of the top of the knee. You can wear sandals, but weather should be appropriate. Your pants need to be worn high enough that we can't see anything, you know, that's not supposed to be seen. You can't have spaghetti strap tank tops. No cotton sweatpants. No pajamas. None of those thin yoga pants. And no athletic shorts. Now, you are allowed to wear athletic shorts on a Thursday. That's a different dress code day. But in my opinion, athletic shorts are something, if you're not going to go run around, that you maybe wear to lounge around the house. And what you wear brings with it a mindset. You shouldn't show up at school thinking, oh, today's a relaxed day. I'm just going to hang out. No. It might be no dress code day, but you're still coming to school to be productive and get things done. Thank you.
On Thursdays, do they wear their gym clothes all day long, or they bring their dress?
They wear them all day long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just easier that way because we don't have, a big locker room thing. Yeah. And we try to have them sweat at the end of the day so they're not, right. Yeah. And then finally, at the end of the dress code, anything not covered will be established by Cornerstone staff. Common sense and the desire to dress yourself appropriately are expected. Please ask us questions before purchasing something that you're not sure of. And if it does not explicitly fit our guidelines, it may not be permitted. Questions on dress code? Kaylee?
The shoes they wear to go outside and play basketball, they have to be black?
That's fine. That can just be what they wear on Thursdays.
And then what about a sweatshirt if they go outside? Can that be anything? Or
That can be anything as well. Yeah,
Just if they wear it inside, it has to be covered.
correct.
If it's got writing on it, it's gotta be appropriate.
Of course, yeah. Yep.
And I don't know if does it even apply to school functions, so like school programs and stuff like that, like the non-dress code and dress code
Mhm.
be applied to those as well? Or not?
For the most part, yes. I always tell the students, like for Christmas program and dinner theater and graduation and awards night, I expect them to look sharp. So I don't want jeans. I don't want a t-shirt. A lot of the philosophy behind the no dress code, day dress code, I would think would still apply. Is there something specifically you're shooting at?
Like the tank tops,
Gotcha.
coverage.
Modesty is encouraged.
Modest.
Yeah. And I kind of just, on a night like that, I'm probably not going to call a student off to the side and say, you go home right now and change. I'm hoping that as parents you can help them out and make sure that they're dressing appropriately. Yeah. Okay. Hope I make it. All right. First 2 days of school is not a normal schedule. So next week, Monday, kindergarten through 6th grade shows up in the morning, 8 to 11:20. And then in the afternoon, 7th through 12th grade, from noon to 3:25. Regular schedule starts Wednesday of next week. And some people were finding different dates for the calendar, and I wasn't sure where they were coming from. Anybody feel like I had some dates wrong for like the first day of school or anything like that? Yes? Where was it at? Do you remember?
I got it in one of the, I think I must have went to the website and went to the old maybe handbook and all the stuff was on there.
Oh,
That could've been it,
yeah, in the
but I
old
put it in my
handbook, that
calendar.
would have been wrong. But I will keep there's a calendar on the school website. I'll keep that updated. And then if it says 2018, 2019 on the top here, then hopefully you're looking at all the right dates. But I guess I confused a few people, so I'm sorry if I confused you. If you're following along in the handbook, you'll notice that page 40 has this schedule and I blanked everything out on it. I thought that was a really good schedule, but not really. I'm working on making it a little different this year. One thing that I can tell you already that we're changing is that we will have band on Tuesdays and Thursdays this year instead of Mondays and Wednesdays. So band will be on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Choir, I think, will still be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's the plan for now. I'm done with the handbook. Any questions on handbook items? It's not as much cheering as I hoped for, but that's okay. All right, and the rest of my list shouldn't take too terribly long. I want to make sure everyone's aware that you can participate in athletics through O'Gorman. You have to pay an activities fee, but if your kids are interested in participating in competitive, it doesn't even have to be athletics. It could be any extracurriculars. So if they wanted to be on I'm not sure what all they offer, but maybe like a debate team or other things like that. O'Gorman partners with homeschool families that want to participate. So that's available. I already kind of hinted at this before. I want our Bible teaching, the students do Bible as a part of their schoolwork during the day. I want it to be a little bit more, I don't know, I want students to interact a little bit more with the Bible instead of just learning like all of the judges and stuff like that. So I think we're going to hybridize Bible a little bit and have more of it be done in a lecture style format than we have in the past. And so that will be some changes that we'll see how it fully fills into the schedule over the course of the year, but that's my plan at this time. I want the students to interact more when we are talking about the Bible. Some of the schoolwork that they're doing is more busy work, and I don't think we need to just do busy work. Okay? If anyone wants to learn the ropes on Ignitia, that's the name of our online curriculum, just schedule a time with me and I will show you around. I'm happy to show you what you need to know, what you need to look for, and that type of stuff on Ignitia. If your kids are wondering what to do when they're at home, maybe they haven't learned all their math facts yet, you could go to mathfactspro.com, and all of this I'll put in an email later this week. So that's something that can be done at home if you're not sure what to have them do. Typing.com is what we use for keyboarding, and obviously reading is a great activity that we want our students to be doing at home. The Book It program will start, I want to say October. It runs 6 months, and you get the free pizzas from Pizza Hut for grades K through 6, but then we offer prizes for everyone in the school, K through 12. So we've usually done Barnes & Noble gift cards in the past, and we'll have a school-wide goal again of 100,000 minutes so that we can do something special on that. Okay? Yeah?
Can we donate books that our kids have had outgrown to the school for?
Oh, yeah, that's great. And we've got, feel free when I'm done talking to look around and kind of see some of the changes in the school area. Mrs. Creep's room back there, my room, you can check out the lunchroom. There's a few changes that you can check out. And one of the things is the books are in a different area. We've got a good number of books that are there already, but hey, we're not sad to add more to what we've got. I think that's great. And I just said 100,000 minutes would be our goal again. Actually, I remembered we talked about maybe changing that to a per student goal, and then all the students that meet a minimum standard being able to participate in a year-end party of sorts. So that'll come out, more information. Dual credit is available for students in grades 11 and 12. It's too late to get in on that for the fall. So if you're interested in being able to take a course through one of the state universities and also have it count towards high school, there is a subsidy program where your students can start college early. It counts for their high school graduation here, and they can use it as credit when they start college later. So you would have to talk to me about that if you have a child in 11th or 12th grade. Probably October we would want to get the ball rolling. I'm sure we could still make it happen in November if that's something that you're interested in. But it's $40 per credit hour, which is a lot less expensive than when they start college later.
Is that transferred to any state school?
Yeah, and actually there's several colleges you can go through. I've had students even go through STI before as well, and they have a system that lets you know whether or not it's a transferable credit. But yeah, it's a nice program. Standardized testing takes place at the end of the year, March, April, in that time. 4th grade, 8th grade, and 11th grade. So you'll get a letter from your school district saying that your son or daughter has to do standardized testing. You don't need to do anything with that letter. We take care of that here at the school. Okay? We send that in, and then they do the testing right here. We're not huge standardized testing proponents. It's just something that the state says that we need to do. It's a homeschooler accountability program. Boys and Girls Club, I talked to them recently. If any of you have some issues with needing after-school care, they have some funding from grants that might make that possible. Now, transportation would be the trick because they don't have transportation that goes from here to there, and that's not something we provide. But $25 per semester, so $50 for the whole year, and you'd have after-school care paid for if you could actually get your son or daughter to the Boys and Girls Club. So if you have any other questions about that, let me know. They are for grades 1 through 12. And just a disclaimer, as a school, we have chosen to not teach sexual education. But it's good for you to know that that's not something we teach in case you need to. It does come up, in biology. It's impossible to avoid it completely. You still learn a little bit of the birds and the bees, but we don't have a specific sexual education course. And so I just pass that along to you to make sure that you know that that's not part of our requirements. That would be something that your students would go through in a public school system. We don't do that here. It's up to you. You get to handle that. Congratulations. Is anybody looking for carpooling opportunities this year? Feel free to raise your hands. So Kim is looking to partner with some carpooling people. She lives kind of in the center of town, up by East Center, kind of by 10th and Cliff, pretty close to there. So if you happen to be able to help Kim out, please come find her after we're done. Anybody else kind of looking for ride-sharing opportunities? I'll put that out in the email as well, and if I forget, remind me. Or if you get it all worked out, great. Did everybody, well, probably not the ones that aren't yet registered, but did you get an email from me telling you that tonight was happening? Is that how you knew to be here tonight? So anybody that should have gotten an email, not get an email from me. That's a good sign. Okay. Email is the usual form of communication that I send out. Is email not okay with anybody? Where if there's some special thing going on, you're like, can you just please give me a call or send somebody over with a song? Okay. Are there any other questions? Something I failed to cover tonight or something I said that confused you? That's a good sign. And I must have been captivating and coherent. Wow. I love it. Thank you for being here tonight. Looking forward to a great school year. It's time to get the ball rolling. And Monday is coming. Monday is coming. All the kids are going to come in. Yeah, it's going to happen. All right. Well, let's pray. I'll send you off. Dear Lord, thank you. Thank you for the joy of life, and thank you for the opportunities that are before us. Lord, we specifically pray for all of the students right now. We lift them up, and we thank you that they're full of wisdom. We thank you that they have the mind of Christ. We thank you that they are capable of overcoming the obstacles that are before them, that you cause us to triumph in you, Lord. So, Lord, we praise you for a triumphant and victorious school year for all of our students. We love you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. You're dismissed.